Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Capricorn. If Capricorn is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. So our card tonight is the Hermit, which seems about right. It seems just about right. Okay. So, let's look at this immediately. I see this. I haven't even really looked at the thing yet, but I see this. We have an illuminated candle here, and we have one right here in the saucer. Mirrored as above, so below. So we do have a time of great psychic influx. There are just absolute connections, messages, impressions, sensations, probably phenomena. Things are happening in your world, okay? And I think that it is pretty intense. And I feel like this is why we have that hermit energy. There is the instinct to kind of go into self. There's the instinct to kind of be off doing your own thing. And I think that's because, well, at least in my experience, when we're doing the work, when we are working with magic, the occult, religion, whatever religion, doing the work of educating ourselves, the rituals of our religion, building a relationship with God, goddess, or whatever intelligence or icon or whatever. You must be, you must be in it, right? About it. It becomes something that is central to your experience. And so, yeah, we pull into a place where, we might have fellowship and community and family and our children and our spouse or significant other, or maybe not, but within those configurations, there's still the individual, and there's still a sense of a growing interior space. Okay, we can't bring people into that space. Some people believe, right, or they practice, I imagine, being able to commune in those spaces with other manifests or physical entities, other people in human bodies. And that might be so, right? I don't know a lot about it. I don't. But I see you. I see you in your faith. I see you in your holiness. I see you in that divine thing. I see you in that hermit mode, but also it is the magician, so much the magician. And there are so many variables here. There are so many pieces of this greater picture. A lot of things happening, and I think a lot of it is in the emotional, psychic realm. Okay. Dreams are really strong, very strong. I can feel that. I think that there's a real sense of revelation, coming to understand, and here's what the thing that came to mind as I said that, coming to understand really your own choices in earlier parts of your life. I think that there have been times where, and I'm seeing that we have like an older deer, and then we have a younger deer, and to me it is like child and mother, father. And I think this is kind of that looking over that youthful energy, that archetype of the child within self. And I think that when you were younger, there were times where you just did things that didn't align with your virtues, your convictions, your nature, your personality. I think that you were probably somewhat experimental and maybe a little rebellious and maybe kind of a contrarian in some ways, maybe a little bit oppositional. And so when somebody told you you could not do something, you did it. Boy, did you do that, and but it didn't always align with how you felt, or in most circumstances you wouldn't have tried these things. And I don't think I'm not saying it's anything, terrible, but I think it just, maybe there was some shame or guilt that lingered. And you look back on those times, and I think you're a Capricorn, you're a very intelligent being. You look back on those times, and I think you wonder, what could I have done with that ability to be so 100% into something, to do something so completely, if I would have put it into something I really loved and cared about. If I would have turned off the outside world, my peers, my caretakers, my, teachers, and the man, right? Whoever was telling you what to do, your boss, your, whatever. And instead of really railing against all of that, doing what you would have liked to have been doing, whatever that is. I mean, maybe you even went to school, for things that, or something that it just, was kind of like, not even something you cared that much about, but it was kind of like, I'm going to do the opposite of what my family does. I'm going to go out and do this other thing. And that was fine. Getting an education is wonderful. Even if you're not in school, you go out, you live a life, you get a good education. Hopefully we are all continuing to learn. I won't go on my little ramble about being the ever student, but I hope that you are. And, but I think that, looking back, I think it's like you realize you got in your own way a lot. Now, let's not lament this, okay? It all has so much to do with who you are now, right? And also, I was the same kind of person in a lot of ways. And not completely, but yes, in a lot of ways. I was pretty rebellious myself. And I think we need a little bit of that, as long as we don't get in too much trouble, or we don't fall into the wrong places, meet the wrong people, right? And end up doing something that could destroy our lives or somebody else's. And so, I think that this is part of your story. And I think that there's no reason to really think, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. Yeah, we all have those moments, but don't linger in it too long. You have a lot of work to do still. So you have plenty of time. Now we have a cow kind of sitting, and this is a most sacred cow. And we immediately think of Hathor. We have that mother archetype, that most beautiful. Oh, I love the depictions of Hathor where she has the cow ears. They're so beautiful. There's one temple complex where they have these huge carvings of Hathor and the cat, the kind of human, kind of alien, kind of cow form or whatever. And those are I love it. It's beautiful. But this is a place where there is so much fertility. There's so much fire there, passion, and the ability to create. That's what it is. The ability to create. And I think that in these times, as you go walking into your most divine places, as you begin to kind of, I don't know, I guess, meet yourself again and again in all of the many forms that you will, I believe that this is a time that will get maybe a little surreal for you. I absolutely know that you are doing your regular work, right? You're a work person. It's always the work with us Capricorns. But, I think in those moments in between, and I think your mind drifts quite a bit. I think that you're in a place where you are just thinking and considering and traveling to the great unknown. I would love to know what's going on there. What kind of visions are you having? What kind of places you find yourself traveling to? What are your daydreams like? And I'm sure that they change by the hour. But we also have, and this one is maybe my favorite here, we have a little, it looks kind of like a little trickster deity, and you can see the little horns, and it looks like it's kind of dancing on top of this house. Okay. And then over here, yeah, it looks like a house and maybe like maybe another house. I don't know. But over here we have somebody standing up here singing, and you can see it almost kind of looks like they're kind of up on a stage. Now we also have two people embracing dancing here. Okay. So I feel like it's almost kind of like like a town festival, or I don't know, something. But there's a sense of something going on in the house where it's not nefarious, but it's annoying a little bit. I feel like it's, just kind of those little trickstery things happening. Maybe little, little, like the faucet breaking. That's what came to mind, the faucet breaking. Or things coming up missing, nothing of consequence, of course, or maybe things showing up where it's like, how did this get in my house? Which always freaks me out when that happens. I'm like, where did this come from? Who's been in here? But yeah, I think it's just like kind of that trickstery, wily little guy, kind of running amok. But I also think that there is a sense of rising joy. And I believe that this time that you're spending in this hermit mode, it's gonna rebound, right? And right in time for this nice season coming up, as things kind of get into the in-between period before we get into late spring and early summer. Then we start having a lot of weather events in the United States all over the place. But in this early time, there's hopefully not as much stuff happening. And it's a time where we can begin to rejoice. We have a lot of the early spring festivals coming up. We have a lot of the holidays coming up. And I feel like this is a time where you're still in the mode of introspection. And I feel like it is, I think of like the most positive version, the kind of most enjoyable version of cabin fever, right? Where if you've ever had cabin fever, it's not usually that enjoyable at all. But there is a loosening of kind of your grip on the necessity to stay in a really tight reality, because things just kind of get a little weird when you're inside for like many months and you're not getting enough sunlight and you're around the same people all the time. It starts to make you kind of experience life a little bit differently. We remember this from being inside, right? For those years or year or whatever it was. A lot of people were not prepared for it, not prepared at all. But then, right, we got into a place where a lot of us started to really like explore our hobbies and making bread or whatever that trend was, and all the I'm trying to think, because I was off of social media during that time. I had just had my baby, so I was in full panic / mom mode. And it turned out to be a beautiful time for us, but there were so many things going on. People were really becoming quite resourceful, I think. And so then there is the release of all of that. You emerge from your cave, right? And you just want to go dancing. You want to just go listen to somebody play some music and dance in the street and, enjoy yourself. Get out there. Get some nice, warm sun on your back and all of that. Go for a nice walk and so on. Now I know if you're in the southern hemisphere, it's not exactly. Maybe it's cooling down for you and you can go outside and enjoy yourself a little bit more. Get some rain and hopefully not too much, but, begin to enjoy not having those. I can't imagine the heat that some of the like Australia. Some of you commented, I don't know what the signs were, but commented about how hot this summer has been. And oi, it's a lot. I come from Northern California, so we had some heat, but not like that. Not like that. What else do we have going on, Capricorn? We have a blackbird, so we know we're on the right path. Yes, we are. Now, I was reading the other day. Every once in a while, I like to look at because I don't really, some of my symbols have relationships with kind of the prescribed symbol meanings for tea leaf reading or tasseography or mancy or whatever. But I don't follow them. I think that they're, you can go and get books for the symbols and the meanings and so on. And I think it's a good learning, like where you should learn from. And if you're a traditionalist, but when you read a lot, and I do a few readings a day, 7 days a week. So you have to have your own relationships. And when I saw one for the crow or raven, and it was like a bad omen, which I know people, that is, or death or whatever. And I just think, I'm almost a little appalled. I just can't. I love the blackbirds, all of them, all of the different blackbirds. When I see them, I think, I am you know, the divine is telling me, it's like winking at me. Okay, here we go. We have some really self-reliant, really, they are creatures that find their way. They absolutely can make something of nothing. You see them out there on the road having a meal. They're in the middle of the dang road. They just walk slowly back to the side as you're driving 60 miles per hour towards them. They don't have a care in the world. They know you're not going to hit them. And they're just, I don't know, they're beautiful creatures. So how could that be a bad omen? My goodness. I was a little offended by a bad omen. Not to mention my namesake comes from Poe and the Raven, or actually it's from the poem Lenor, but same character. And so I have an affinity for the birds. But yeah, if I've seen a few of you actually, in the last few days, and maybe not Capricorns, but if you do happen to have an interest in reading tea leaves, I absolutely think that you should. If you have books of symbols, or if you get like a tea leaf reading booklet or book, it's a great place to start. And you know, it's something that's fun and it's interesting, and you can do it with things other than tea. You could use coffee grounds, or I like instant coffee is a really good one. You can use grains, or I like to scry when I'm like making soup and things like that. And so you can really begin, just start looking for symbols in your life. Start looking for formations. Like, you know how people go when you're young, you look at the clouds and you try to figure out what they look like. Well, think about doing that with all kinds of things in your life. And if you start reading tea leaves, you'll start doing it all the time. I do it everywhere I look. I see something like, my goodness, I can't get away from these symbols now. I've trained myself to see them in everything. And now, let's see, we have, and this is the one that I really want to hit on again. We have the evergreen right here in the middle of everything. So I really believe there's that everlasting vibrance within you. Whatever the weather, day or night, you are, you know, standing firm. You are vibrant. You are strong and beautiful. You are home to others who love you, who you love. You are important. You are important to you, and to so many, I imagine. And I think of that beautiful pine tree, just a beautiful pine tree standing there, just so glorious. When they get really tall, my goodness, just beautiful. And there you are, you know, you have a life that is meaningful. You have the ability to change things whenever you want. It doesn't feel like it always, but you do. And I think that you are more than able to, you know. And I think the thing is that sometimes we just have to think about it, or try something small. This is always my challenge when we're thinking about shifting a bit. You know, even trying something like driving a different way home from work, going to a different gas station. You know, I know it seems like something that isn't it doesn't mean that much. But yeah, if you go to the same gas stations or gas station almost all the time to get, you know, whatever it is that you go and get besides gas, you go inside and you buy, you know, a drink or whatever, and you know the place, you know everything's at, you know the people who are in there when it's, you know, the time of day that you go there, and then one day you just decide, I'm gonna go the other way home from work or the other way to work or whatever on my lunch break, and I'm gonna go to a different gas station. I'm gonna start going here for a while. Establishing, you know, variations in your routine. Also, listen, they say that if you do have a routine life or a certain, you know, whatever, what's the word? Like a certain way that you do everything, you have to you have to vary it. It's not good if, and this is true crime Lenor, because I do watch true crime a lot. If you're ever being followed by anybody and you do the same things every day, it's not good, because people will know where you're at. So be careful. I mean, don't be paranoid, but be careful. But yeah, vary your life just a little bit. Somewhere where it's, you know, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it will make you feel different. It'll make you feel something else. I don't know, something. Hopefully not anxiety. All right, let's see. We have the Divine Doors cards, and I'm going to go ahead and flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. Nope, I'm not doing that one. I just did that like twice yesterday. We're doing it again. All right, here we go. Let's look at it. Beautiful. Trust the universe. Intuition has wandered and led you astray. The timing's not yours, but the universe at play. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we just make mistakes, right? The feeling isn't the right one. Or maybe it is the right one, because we're supposed to make mistakes. We're supposed to fail a little bit, but we have to know that the universe is holding us. The universe shall provide. It always provides, if we understand that or not. Somehow, some way. All right, Capricorn. I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you. I thank you for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And what else? If you want to leave a comment, please do. I would love to hear from you. Now I'm going to talk about, last night I watched the finale of True Detective, and of the new season, and it was pretty great. I thought the whole season was pretty great. I'm not going to do any spoilers, but I really liked it. It hit on so many archetypes that I just am in love with. Also, I live in a very cold area, although this year not so much, but usually it's icy, it's snowy, it's the tundra, it's very, very, very cold. And although I'm not in Alaska, that's where the season was set, it is not, it's similar, right? So I really liked it. It actually made me want to move to Alaska, because I would love to live in the dark for a month straight, or however long it is. I think that's like my ultimate form. So, anyways, it was a great show. And if you're looking for something to watch, it's a crime theme, but it is also magical realism, and very much contains that spirit of the Dark Mother, which is whoo, my favorite. So, yeah, I think that's it, Capricorn. I love you. And I hope that you have a most wonderful morning, day, evening, wherever you are, whatever's going on. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in just a few days. All right. Bye-bye.